A few weeks ago, I attended a seminar by Tom DeSimone and Hillary Hughes from Prairie Capital Advisors. The topic was Inflection Points of Ownership Transition. And they led off with 8 questions to ask ourselves. Where do we see the ownership of our company in the next 5 to 10 years? Are the exit timelines consistent? What strategies are available and will meet these expectations? How can you prepare yourself and the company for an exit to maximize value? Those were the key ones. Then they went through the ownership transition paths, both internal and external. There aren't a lot of external sales of AEC businesses that I've heard of in AIBD, but I do know of some internal transitions, such as a family member taking over. A management buyout is undoubtedly a viable option. And one path that Tom and Hillary didn't mention was working along, putting money into the retirement plan, and you close the doors when the time comes. Maybe because they rarely work with solopreneurs, unlike me. And when you've been working alone, closing your doors only affects your clients. But if you have employees, well, let me tell you this story. AIBD fellow Mike Gassi in late 2012 once had an employee come up to him and ask, "So boss, what happens to the company when you're gone?" He never really thought about the question. He was only 56 at the time and hadn't given a retirement date any thought. It was a haunting question that made him stop and think, what will happen to the business? Later at a conference, the question was posed, are you in business because you need a job, or are you building a business to sell? A few months later, another AIBD fellow asked Mike if he had heard of open book management and the name Jack Stat. He quickly ordered 2 copies of Jack's book, The Great Game of Business, and gave one to his partner, Carl Brown. After reading the book and going back and forth through it several times, they realized that this solves some major issues. There's nothing to sell except time in an architecture and engineering business. While we produce a product, it's not like a widget that you can pull off the shelf and package up to ship. Our product stems from efficiency uses, project scope creep, and managing budgets. Now they ask themselves, how do we get our employees to care about these things? The great game of business. Now fast forward to September 2022, and here's me with their team at the Great Game of Business Annual Conference. Well, about 1/6 of them anyway. They have just been named a Great Game All-Star team for the 2nd year in a row and their 3rd time overall. They're also celebrating becoming 100% employee-owned and operated. What started 7 years ago as a question from one employee became a pathway for every employee to continue to grow individually and with the company. Now, having observed this process, I can tell you I'm making it sound easier than it really was. But it's possible for everyone. If you want more details about teaching financial literacy, hosting minigames, and profit sharing, check out the blog that Mike wrote. I'll give you the link in the show notes down below. Now, it's not just an exit strategy. Less than 15% of great game businesses are ESOPs. In the blog, Mike says, since we started playing the game, our sales have increased by 2x and our profit margin has increased by 4x. What a difference. Mike's words, not just mine. The great game of business is about people. It's about money. It's about both. And it's more than an operating system. It's a growth system. And it's for all kinds of companies, all shapes and sizes. Here's the exciting thing. AIBD has partnered with the Great Game of Business, which translates into a new membership opportunity for you. When Mike and Carl started playing the game, they had to fly to Springfield, Missouri to learn how to find their why and their critical number. But all you have to do is attend a 3-hour Discover the Game virtual workshop on October 20th, right from where you're sitting. The workshop costs $295 per company, but AIBD will pay a full scholarship for any AIBD professional member who wants to attend. Log into your account at aibd.org/hub and look for discount codes on the left. You can also call the office or reply to the Monday Minute email. We're happy to help. Now keep in mind, this is not an AIBD event. There won't be any replays. You have to attend this in person to participate. And I assure you, this is not one of those personal development programs with walking on hot coals, high fives, or breaking arrows on your chest. It's a serious business training delivered just the way I like it, right out of a fire hose. Now use the code to reserve your seat. Then do me a couple of favors. One, reach out to an AIBD board member and thank them for investing in you and the industry. Next, please pay it forward. You probably know others in and out of the industry who are business owners, leaders, and key decision makers. Help them get unstuck and take their business and teams to the next level. Feel free to pass on your discount code to them. You might just change a life. Thanks for watching this entire video and have a triumphant week.